Do, 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 do. But oh no, will you look at that?
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the member show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hey, you Gumpers, how you doing? Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. About a day ago, or just after, not long after dawn yesterday, I went to Lisbon. I had a fantastic time yesterday. Really lovely, and seem to have lost some of the pictures I was about to show you. That's really weird. Okay, well, the sunrise I can't show you, but I can show you going across the bridge. The Dragon Bridge, as some of us know it. Going from the north side of the river to the south side, where I was going to go and meet Bobby. That picture's disappeared as well. This is very strange this morning. I wonder what's happened to those. I don't remember deleting those. Funny goings on here at GMP HQ this morning. Anyway, take my word for it. Beautiful sunrise. As I looked across the water, it wasn't long after when I was in Lisbon, on the south side of the water. Miles Davis was playing. The music was the soundtrack was Miles Davis. You know, Milestones. Anyone who doesn't like jazz will be hating that right now. But yeah, it was so fantastic going into Lisbon yesterday and then crossing the water, seeing the Cristo Rei in the distance. Oh my goodness, what an amazing country we live in. We live in here, and so delighted to live on the Silver Coast. But isn't it nice to get out every now and then? Here's somebody who likes to get out every now and then. Good morning to you, Mrs. M.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing?
Thank you for popping in and fitting us into your busy schedule. You are very busy. You're always on the screen these days, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I really am. Boy, oh boy.
And you're up early this morning as well.
Yeah, for the second time this week.
Yeah.
For the second time this week, I've been up at 5 a.m.
Right.
Today I was up early. Like yesterday I was up so I could support you because you were off to do your amazing Bobby trip and also to pick up my parents, which was really rather stellar of you.
Thank you.
This morning I got up at 5 a.m. so that I could tune into the total solar eclipse as it happened, even though, like, you know, we don't get to see it here because it was going on sort of in Australasia and Indonesia. I really wanted to just like tune into the moment of it.
And is it a Bonnie Tyler eclipse? Is it?
Yeah.
Will it affect people's love lives?
It could totally, like the energy I'm really getting, because also today the sun's going into the sign of Taurus, the moon's going into Taurus. There's a lot going on astrologically, and tomorrow Mercury's retrograde. It's a big week.
It's a biggie, right?
Yeah, it's a massive biggie. And really the thing that is coming up for me is that it's like a time, and it's funny, I heard it from our good friend, whose name I've forgotten.
You know how good a friend they are.
I was about to say Marie, but I meant to say Maria.
Maria.
So our good friend Maria, she said to me a couple of times, it's time to close that circle. It's time to close the circle.
I'm a bit embarrassed because you've called her our good friend, and I'm wondering which Maria.
Well, I'm not going to out her, you know, with a surname.
Don't doubt that she's our good friend.
It could be a gazillion Marias.
We've got a few good friends.
Yeah, we know.
Maria.
Yeah. Okay. And so Maria was saying to me yesterday, it's really important for us to like close the circle on what's been and get ready for something new. And it just felt really real today.
I've been having a lot of thoughts along those lines. That'll explain it.
Yeah. And so I was thinking, wow, you know what? It feels like a good time to be me. It feels like a good time to, you know, step forwards in a new way. And also I was I was sort of ruminating on it and thinking, you know, our
I
family.
can hear it. I knew something woke me up this morning.
Our family is going into a new stage. You know, like our 11-year-old is a lot more outward. We're
Always
coming out
something,
of the
isn't it?
baby stage,
Yeah.
and you know, your show is coming on in a new way. Like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
stepping out of Portugal and kind of
Iberian FM.
exactly,
Yeah.
and worldwide. You know, there's it feels like there's these stepping stones, and we're maturing out of an infancy and going into a new stage. So yeah, I got up early
Wow.
to just think about it and get ready for some of my live streams later on today. So
Incredible. What a woman you are. Fantastic. Great job. Okay. And welcome everybody who's joined us.
Yeah,
this morning.
sorry.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I don't think I thank the community enough for making
You've got an amazing
this,
community here.
Yeah, you know, everyone who supports in their own way. And as has been pointed out to us, you know, people make contributions in different sorts of ways. Time,
Yeah, like
talent, and treasure.
Some people show up every day, don't they?
They
and
really
they
do.
really contribute. And
yeah, in all
they
sorts
spread
of
joy.
ways. It's fantastic. It's truly a virtual village, isn't it?
Yeah, it really
There are
is.
people here who we've been communicating with for 2 or 3 years, and we still never met them in real life.
Yeah,
This is certainly a modern way of being, isn't it?
yeah, it
And
really
things are
is.
changing. If I could just conclude on what you were just saying there, because
Go
I think it's quite poignant, and we've joked and laughed about it, you know, declaring a new summer of love here on Good Morning Portugal, haven't we? But we are, you and I, I don't know if everyone's like this, but you and I are especially interested in what the future holds and what the you know what
And
the
also what the
significance
present holds as well.
and what's changing, what's transforming
Yeah.
at the moment, because I think there can't be many people alive at the moment unless they are living under a rock somewhere, and I can understand why they would do that.
Yeah.
And I quite like the idea of that. But in our globalized, highly connected world, in one sense, technologically, not necessarily spiritually or mentally connected with other people, but we've got all these connections, haven't we? And we are going through something, and we've been through the most incredible last few years, and I get a real good sense of what you're talking about. You know, we are on the cusp of global, certainly for our civilization, the one that we live in, something's changing, isn't it? You know, things are breaking down, things are changing, new cultures are becoming more dominant than the ones we've grown up and experienced. Turbulent times.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, and I got so much relief and strength and inspiration from the idea that, you know, after a difficult time, and after the most difficult times come beautiful times. If you're interested in the fourth turning, which some say we're in, this is the time of crisis. But after time of crisis comes a time of a new dawn and a great beauty and ease and joy and simplicity and celebration for humanity. So who knows? We might experience that in our lifetime. I know you and I are very interested in that. We always have been.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing for us.
Trying to bring it on in some sort of way. But if you can resonate with that, folks, do let us know. And part of that, I think, as well, I've got a lot of notices to share with you this morning. But one of them that may be prescient and useful in this regard is, you know, what we're going through, I think, is perhaps letting go of the past as well.
Yeah.
Because you have to do that, don't you, to move into the future?
Yeah, you can't you can straddle the two, but one of the things that I've noticed is
like
when you're
two horses.
Yeah, when you're trying to straddle it, it's really
God.
uncomfortable. So it's kind of like you have to kind of that's a really good metaphor actually for migration. You know, a lot of people when they migrate, they still keep their lives set up in their previous country in case they need to go back. And so they don't burn their bridges
or their longboat.
or their long boats.
Yeah.
And people keep that going for a really long time. And it's kind of prescient for us because
it can help. And
we've had both our parents move over, and that really reminds us of
visit though, rather than move over.
Oh yeah.
Unless there's something I don't know about that you've been talking with your parents. Have they actually moved over and I didn't notice?
No, sorry, I meant come
they're
over.
on holiday, aren't they?
They are on holiday.
I mean, not that I mind that.
Though
but
they did say it feels like we're back home again.
They did. They said that in the car as we were driving through beautiful on the A8, driving back from Lisbon. They said this feels like home, and a lot of Gumpers here will be able to resonate with that.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people keep two lives going, or sometimes three lives, because they might have a couple of lives back home, a couple of families, or a couple of different situations. Yeah, and actually there's a lot of peace that comes when you actually kind of step out of that and step into your real life, your now life, and really inhabit it and
and
then-
letting go of what doesn't serve us anymore. We might be attached to it.
Oh, Mama Bear's
but
here
she
now.
is.
Hello.
And how,
Thank you for that
what's good
advice you
timing?
gave me yesterday. That was so beautiful.
Okay.
I sent Mama Bear a little message,
Right.
or quite a long one, and she went, "Oh my God,
I know
you
your
need to-"
little messages.
She said, "You need to breathe. Just sit there, breathe."
You need to breathe, madam.
Yeah. And the thing was, when I played it back, I thought, "Oh my God, I've been like a hamster on a wheel." And
You have.
actually
you have.
sat back
You
and
see,
went,
Mama Bear, the prophet is not known in their own land. I've been telling her to breathe ever since we've met. But yesterday, the message got through, it would seem. Now,
It
if
really
I could
does.
just read this for heaven's sakes. I've been
Yeah,
trying to put
sorry.
it on the screen for ages now.
Okay.
Oh, no, we can't, because Martha's here now. Thank you for sharing, watching this live from Nairobi, Kenya.
Wow,
Good morning,
thank you
everybody.
for joining us from there.
Look, and we can have a good morning from Mama Bear to go with the message that I'm sharing. And notice, free guidance and counselling about bereavement and grief. Please contact me directly.
Yeah.
Mama Bear runs Share and Care Portugal, and I'm delighted and pleased to be involved in that in some way. Not in a big way, but I give it my wholehearted support because it's very important in relation to what we were just saying. I think letting go of the past can bring pain.
Yeah.
And the avoidance of pain means we might not want to let go of things in the past. And I just think we are in. Mama Bear has written some amazing stuff about this. She calls the pandemic of this time grief. Grief is the pandemic of this time.
Yeah, I agree.
If I paraphrase you correctly there, Mama Bear, because we are being faced with having to let go of a lot of things at the moment. I think what we knew, what some of our dreams that were based on visions of the past but are no longer appropriate. That's a lot for us human beings to cope with, especially after all we've been through in the last 2 or 3 years. So you get an abrazo here, a big old abrazo virtual here at Good Morning Portugal. If you're going through it, and you don't have to keep your chin up, strawberry face on all the time. If you're struggling, there's an offer from Mama Bear there. You can get informal, I was going to say informal blokey help. I hope that is the kind of vibe here, isn't it? Informal blokey help, joking and laughing and keeping our spirits up on every morning on the Good Morning Portugal show.
I think rather than blokey, I'd say it's like boy next door energy.
Boy next door energy. And there's a place for that. And there's a place for deeper help and the sort of which Mama Bear is happy to offer you. And mindfulness-based cognitive therapy.
I was wondering what that was.
Okay, and we have a closed group every twice a month. Every month, I was trying to say, but it's actually twice a month, and that is our Life and Death Cafe online as well, which you can join. So if anyone's struggling at the moment, going through something, finding it a bit difficult, even if you can't quite put your finger on it, because that's often the hallmark, isn't it, of anxiety and depression and things that dog and trouble us, is we can't quite put our finger on what it is. It's just a feeling, isn't it, of like, it's not quite right. Will this ever end? Those funny feelings that aren't very distinct, but something's afoot and something is wrapped around your foot. To use I don't need to cough. Is that some grief coming up? Possibly, maybe it is.
Maybe you're clearing your lungs.
My lungs are moving this morning. There you go. Okay, so the notices we will continue with. Thank you, Mama Bear, and thank you for being here. A bit of housekeeping. I'm deleting notices as I share them because Mrs. M has accused me of having too much on my picture deck.
Do you know what accused is a rather strong word?
Okay, you're not going to sue me for it then?
No, definitely not. Okay.
You've suggested I may have too much in my picture
deck.
Yes,
you do. You hold on to everything, and I would.
Oh, there's another.
Given. That was an accusation.
I hold on to everything.
Okay.
This would be a very ungainly matter if I held on to everything.
You did actually just catch me out there.
I did,
in fact, everyone else did as well.
Busted.
I'm totally busted.
An exaggeration, an emphasis.
That was an exaggeration.
I hear it. I'm not offended.
You have a lot in your bags.
Yes.
Like it's like a mailbag, isn't it?
It's bulging.
It is bulging.
All right, let's get through them.
You need to empty your sacks.
Monastery of live on air. Monastery of that's for OnlyFans. Sanctuary of Senhor de Serra, Miranda do Corvo. Visit the fantastic monastery of Santa Maria on the 13th of May with our beloved Philomena. A lot of people got some great value working with Philomena on the pronunciation last Friday. Good session. Thank you, Philomena. And there she is leading you. There's got to be food, hasn't there? Yes. Total price for the guided tour and lunch, of course. Jantar business, almoço, 18 euros.
That is really good value.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Hanging out with Philomena is a lot of fun as well. You'll have some fun on that. And you'll be at the restaurant Cheiro Goloso, What does that mean? Is that taste and smell? Sherry?
Do you know what?
We need some help with that. Shero Guloso, name of that restaurant, please. So there's that one. Deleting it now, Mrs. M, so it doesn't clog up things. What's this one? Oh, down south. Nice, cool.
Down south?
Down south in the Algarve. Nice nice pint of Guinness and a full English. No, it's not all like that. Nice, cool. They won't forgive me if they hear me saying that, the Algarvians. Or the new Algarvians.
All my parents.
The Algarvians are Novos. No burning is allowed in high-risk areas today. So as I mentioned in the Iberian FM phone-in yesterday, keep your eye on Itma and Fogos, because we were talking about the drought situation. More on that, actually, from Andy in just a moment. The drought situation, fire prevention. Thank you, Debbie, for the heads up on that. So she also recommends, she does a lot of work for the Bomberos. She has been decorated by the British royal family for her work in these matters. I think an MBE for Debbie Burton. And if you see a fire, ring 112. That's the emergency number. A false alarm is better than no alarm, she says. So a little bit of a hot spot literally down there in the Algarve at the moment. Be careful. No fires down there, no burning. Always good to check with your bomberos if you're planning on doing a burn anyway. This Friday, that's only tomorrow, Mrs. M. You were saying, weren't you? This week has gone by quite quickly.
It really, really has.
Yeah, the Iberian, we've been dealing with some heavy duty subjects, like today's at 10 o'clock will be 10 o'clock Spanish, 10 o'clock Portuguese time, 11 o'clock Spanish time. Get it right, Carl. Where are spiritual leaders leading us? Dalai Lama has been accused of inaction over sex abuse in Algarve after.
Seriously,
he's got his plate full at the moment.
Did you just make that up, or is that based on something?
How could you possibly ask me if I would make that up?
Can I just check
it? It's a tenuous link, I've got to say.
It sounds like a bit of clickbait.
It's the Iberian FM phone in. We do lean into the clickbait a little bit. Oh, you've busted me.
Do you know what? I'm kind of pleased that you are, because
what? Leaning in.
Like leaning into a different genre.
Well,
you know, because you're really like wholesome in this show, I think. And
that's the first time I've been called that, especially in this.
And I think you've got an amazing ability to pun, and so I really quite like the idea of you know, the clickbaity titles in Iberian FM.
Okay, well, that's what we're looking at today. Where are spiritual leaders leading us? And don't get me wrong, you know, I'm a big fan of the spiritual teacher, spiritual leader, always have been. But it's interesting, isn't it, to see what's happened with the Dalai Lama recently? And he is getting, I was going to say fingered. That's really not the right. That's really not the right word to use on this occasion.
Absolutely not.
He's getting pointed at.
Yes.
And you know, it's a Buddhist temple controversy in the Algarve.
Right.
You know, he can't be held responsible. Someone's been in, you know, you need to sort this out. And I mean, you know, working at his level, I doubt he's got time to deal. I mean, not that these things shouldn't be dealt with, but more about this at 10 o'clock Portugal time, 11 o'clock Spanish time, Iberian FM. Where are spiritual leaders leading us? Morning, Stephen. Suze is in as well. How are you doing?
Are you feeling better now, Suze?
Hopefully she is. Let us know, Suze. And bon dia, guys. William!
Hey!
The Marmite Man. Not because some like him and some don't.
No, because he bought us some Marmite, and that was really great.
He might put his hand up to the first one. He does have firm opinions. He might describe himself as a Marmite guy. Bon dia, guys. Nice to have a bit of banter in the morning rather than the usual MSM. Yeah, we've got the MSM gloom at 10. But we even do that in a different way. There's banter and you know, open-minded, open-hearted. You're not going to get shut down for having a slightly different view or a very different view, as long as you remain respectful and lawful. Ha ha, Carl. No, stop it. Becky G. Rogers.
That's such a great comment.
Yes. Joao F is in as well. Hi, all. This is a good little topic. I've met about 30 Gumpers in person so far.
Wow.
It has enriched my Good Morning Portugal experience. Looking forward to meeting more of the lovely riot soon. Yeah, that is a collective.
Do you know, I really like that. She actually put GMP plus experience. I wonder what that means.
GMP plus.
Yeah. Like there's a
LGBTQ plus there. Okay.
GMP plus. But I think the Gumpers are a thoroughly nice bunch.
Thank you for taking care of business yesterday at the meetup. I couldn't be there because I was picking your parents up.
To be fair, it wasn't really me that took care of business. It was our 4-year-old son that went round.
Really?
Chatting to
everybody.
Is he a chip
off the old block?
Yeah.
Is he? Is he working the room?
He was working the room,
Good
and
lad.
he was connecting with other expats on other tables. Yeah,
and was he saying things like, you know what, you might like to meet my other friend over here? Was he greasing the runners of sociability?
I think he was doing some of that Tanopedia that he does.
Oh, just making stuff up.
Yeah. like
Like
connecting one fact to another and
Here's a
asserting
chip
it
off the old
with
block.
real, like, yes, and
Good
this
lad.
is like this, and they were enthralled
His
by him.
theories are very special
Yeah,
at 4
they're
years
really
of age.
quite
aren't they?
amazing.
Yeah, okay. FU, so lovely to see you all at the weekend. Such a lovely time. So proud to call you my friends. Oh, that's Carl.
That's Carl.
Not
yeah.
the other FU who's been causing me a bit of trouble this week. Facebook
Who's that?
user, you know who you are, Moldovan man. He knows who
Oh,
he is.
I know who that is.
Asking about my skin. Do I moisturize? All that kind of caper. I was ready to on the block button. I thought he was ready to pounce with something, with a punchline.
I think
Back
your
to
skin
those
looks really
notices.
nice.
Well, thank
actually.
you very
It's
much.
nice now you've shaved, cut back some of that
You,
beard.
you like the beard trim, don't you?
Yeah.
Tonight,
it's
another
lovely.
notice. This is a hot topic. Car
Oh my
ownership.
goodness! It's your expats night tonight,
It
isn't
sure
it?
is. At 7:30, we'll be talking to ACP about car ownership and driver's license exchange in Portugal, followed by the dream team at 9. What were we going to say then?
She looks very happy in her car there, doesn't
Yeah, that's
she?
because she's not approaching 60 and needing to change her driving license anytime soon. She knows she's got ages yet. Seriously. And she's not thinking of importing a car. So she's
she's got cash
really
to buy
happy.
a new one on
Yeah,
arrival.
she's happy about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 7:30 this evening. What's this? Oh, actually, I need your help on this, everybody. But that's not really a notice, so we'll come back to that. That's all the notices for the time being. We've got a lovely little picture show from Andy, who was riffing on the theme yesterday of drought. This is Agada. You know this river, don't you?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Agada.
Where is the river?
Agada, famous for its umbrellas. You won't need them at the moment. See what I did there?
Yeah.
That is the river at the moment. This was it in January from the sky. Oh,
Yikes.
sorry, it's a bit of a blurry picture, but you get the drift.
That's
there.
a huge. Well, you don't get the drift, do you? I mean, that's a huge change.
It is a huge change. So there are some worries about drought concerns at the moment for Portugal. We haven't had the rain that normally comes in April. And from Andy's continued picture show, I don't think this is about rain. This is Portuguese saying of the day. We must get back to that quick. Em abril, Sasha e semeia, que seu te abençoa. You can tell I haven't been practicing this morning. I haven't opened my vowels up this morning. Te abençoa e te remedia. Something to do with, if you plant a seed in April, it's like Portuguese saying of the day, you are blessed by heaven later on with a remedy. So that might be a little herbalist.
Is that a new meme you're using?
No, but this is the new meme.
It's a really clever meme
I'm using. Very good for many an occasion. This
Yeah.
is from a restaurant he was at. If you ask for credit here, you're likely to get one of these, the Iberian Slap. Look it up. It's really great. First strawberry of Andy's season as well. He made a wish when he
Wowzers.
harvested that. Doesn't that look good?
Is that what you meant to do with the first strawberry? Make a wish?
Yeah, definitely. It is now. It definitely is now.
Beautiful.
And after years and years.
We've been eating the first load of strawberries, haven't we, from Alcobaça?
Oh, that's right. But he grew
We've
that.
driven through all the strawberry fields.
He's
or
grown
past
that one,
them.
though,
That's
look.
really beautiful.
Yeah. Very good job. And after years, decades in Portugal, still finding things all over the country to delight and surprise them. Look, there's Mrs. Bairandi there finding a candle on a string at the public bathhouse. The mind boggles, but I think it's a bit of a mystery. Are they just not using the candle as a plug to stop the water going out? Because you can shape a candle, can't you? And that might be a good way of stopping the water going out. That will be my guess on that. Any other guesses? At 9 o'clock, we welcome Veronica.
It's very nice to see Mrs. Barandi,
isn't it? She's lovely.
Oh, wow, look at that.
This is the view from the new view that since the roof has been sorted out at Veronica's gaff. She's joining us at 9 from the Algarve this morning. And that's the view across the water from her roof terrace. Isn't that lovely?
Wow, that's lovely.
And we've got Carl Hyde as well. He popped this up on the GMP VIP site. Beware scammers taking advantage of desperate prospective tenants. He can tell us more about that sort of thing when he arrives. I'm rushing a bit now because I want to make sure we get to the deep thoughts and the Portuguese sayings and the God Squad tip of the day. So we'll welcome Veronica at 9, Carl at 9:30. And you didn't get this, Mrs. M.
Yikes, I didn't.
Scottish paratrooper. Oh, by the hockey James, will you put some pants on, man? I thought it was great. Thanks, T-Duck, for that one.
I love that.
That's the more mailbag business, and we've got more visual dad jokes to come. All right, let's have a look at, let's scroll right back to when the 3 or 4 wise men were gathering this morning. We had Coach Turner in at what time? 7:39. Bom dia a todos e feliz quinta. His Portuguese is coming on really nicely, isn't it? And he lives in Hertfordshire. It's not easy for him to contextualize this. Looks like a lovely morning here in Hertfordshire, though rain forecast for this evening. So coaching outside will be off the menu. God Squad tip of the day. My 3 coaching heroes have all put mental approaches alongside physical ones. It's got to be done, hasn't it, Mrs. M? As a hypnotherapist, you know this.
Yeah.
Bud Winter used relaxation. Steve Peters focused on controlling the fight or flight response. John Denford was empathetic while being honest with his athletes. Loving this. How can we use these techniques in our own lives to improve our health and be able to enjoy life to the full for longer? In many ways, using relaxation techniques is countering our prehistoric conditioning. Yeah, so regular meditation can certainly help. Or like Mrs. M discovered yesterday, just breathing. Connect with your breathing. It's the beginning. It's the gateway to the, I suppose, the fancier forms of meditation. But you don't need to call it meditation. Just connecting with your being and your breathing is so beneficial. Remember, though, that a good walk through nature can have the same effect, which is also meditative, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even better if you can share these experiences with like-minded friend that can be honest with you. How about that? Somebody breaking the truth to you in the middle of a forest. You know what? You're sometimes a bit of an a-hole, but I love you anyway. And you have a big hug. Just think, some people spend a fortune paying counselors or psychologists to be professional. I don't think they say you're a complete a-hole, man. Unless you go to a radical honesty therapist who might try that on for size. Talking of therapists, thank you, Coach Turner, for those. They were truly great. Superb, great job. Thank you, Coach Turner. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz quinta a todos. Como estão? We missed you yesterday, mate. Bom dia, Ian. Morning, James. It's lovely, isn't it?
Everyone greeting
early
each other.
on in
It's
the
so
comments. Good morning, sir. Good morning to you, sire.
It's like they're
Top of the
popping over.
morning.
Look, they're like looking over their
Over the fence.
front garden fence.
Garden fence. She's here with that view. She's going to be here in just a minute. Deep thought. If most of us remain ignorant of ourselves, it is because self-knowledge is painful and we prefer the pleasures of illusion. Well, ain't that the truth?
Deep.
Ain't that the truth? It's not called a deep thought for no reason, Mrs. M. And that connects, doesn't it, with grief, with the things we might not want to face in our lives, and the sort of things you might face with the help of a friend in the forest.
Or
which
even
sounds
a
bit
professional.
weird now. Or a health professional, a mental health
actually
professional.
sometimes, I mean, it's great to have that level of closeness with friends, but very few of us actually have that.
Yes.
And sometimes it's just better to talk with somebody who doesn't know you and can really hear you without all the sort of preconditioned listening. And
will clear up any mess.
Yeah.
I think that's an important pre-existing condition. Or that's a health insurance thing. A prerequisite, sticking around to clear up the mess. That's the problem, isn't it? I think sometimes we think in communication, if it goes wrong, belly up or any other part of the body up, that it's going to be, you're going to part on bad terms. If you make a commitment to stick around to clear up the mess with people, it's quite powerful. Not that I've always done that. Portuguese saying of the day, em boca fechada. Yeah, professional speaker here having to say this. As moscas não têm entrada. In a closed mouth, flies have no entrance. Yes. All right. Point taken. Quem sabia? Portuguese children are among the best protected children by law in the world. Portugal is one of the few countries where legislation forbids all forms of violence against children.
That's interesting because I've seen them get a right old wallop from their parents.
Yes.
I was really shocked actually when I first moved to Portugal, seeing children getting slapped around the mouth and around the legs and all sorts.
Well, if you wanted
I haven't
to do
seen it
something,
recently,
no,
actually,
if you wanted to, well, maybe these laws came in the last couple of years rather than 5 years ago, Mrs. M. And if you wanted to step in and use the law, you could. Although the law in Portugal protects its children to a great extent, there is still a need for more information and support from the state, municipalities, and churches to enforce the law. Only 5% of children in the world can enjoy these rights. Oh, so my goodness, it's one thing to be talking about Portugal, but then when you have it in that context, that's a little wearying, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awful.
However, there is a lack of institutions for children that provide advice on what to do if they are victims of any form of violence. My goodness. And this is why we need the extended family, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the 3 generations and the uncles and aunties who can help. So there's not all that kind of nuclear pressure, I think. And because there's a lot of pressure on people.
Yeah.
And we need to have the support network thrown as far and as wide as possible, I would say. Right. I missed the dad jokes yesterday.
I love that joke.
I'm not reading that out yet.
Oh,
These are today's.
so good.
I've got yesterday's though for you, Mrs. M, so you won't feel too deprived. I'm addicted to collecting vintage Beatles albums. Please, I need help.
Very clever.
Okay, and today's 4-year-olds can switch on phones and buy their favorite apps, as we know.
Yes, we do.
I think this is a true story, or inspired by a true story. When I was 4, I ate mud, and I'll consider myself an adult when the word tallywhacker doesn't make me giggle. What is a tallywhacker? Anyway,
I don't know.
Maybe our guest will know. Who's quick? Look it up on Google, Veronica.
I've got my phone ready.
Okay, all right. Let's give her a nice big round of applause. She's here, and she's in the Algarve. I think she's in the Algarve.
She might not be.
She might not be. She might just have an Algarvian backdrop. Here she is. Veronica American in Portugal and in the Algarve today. Is that right?
Hello. Oh, shoot. My computer seems to be running slow. I think
join the club. Join the club. We're all
Ours
like
has
that
done
here.
that recently quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to switch. I have one of those Wi-Fi gizmos. I'm going to switch to that. Because
all right, fair enough.
I'm just looking up what tallywhacker means.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's that's going to be in your search history forever. you and your tallywhacker. Oh dear. It's not like you to be shocked by anything you see on the internet. Okay, and she's giggling, so she's not an adult.
I'm definitely not an adult.
Right. Okay. Can you describe it in a poetic way?
Okay.
Is it anything like the Scottish paratrooper that we saw earlier on?
Yes,
Is
there
it
is. There is
really?
something to do with that.
Oh my goodness.
And if I was to do this,
oh, for heaven's sakes! Okay, let's bring Veronica on. Okay, all right.
my
thank
finger
you very
represents the tallywhacker.
No need for anyone to look up tallywhacker.
Do you know what?
It has
I
been
must
done.
stop having showers right before the show starts because, I just look so pink. You were talking about raspberry face or strawberry face earlier, and I just look like a little berry, don't I?
You do a little bit, and then you start.
And then
talking
I laugh.
about tallywhackers.
Yeah, and then I go red.
Yeah, by Randy, we've sorted it out for you. Oh, and I think the candles are for washing in poor light. That's a good idea. Veronica, how are we doing now?
Hello. Good. Am I still delayed?
It's fantastic. You're speaking to us, and
You
your
are
lips aren't moving.
You're slightly delayed.
But we're all like that here.
Maybe because it's morning. It's slow.
It's fine. Just tip some coffee into the back of the computer. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah,
Now,
maybe I'll make sure everything's closed, that there's no other browsers open.
Yeah, you might have too many pictures. I blame AI. Ever since Chat GPT came along, everything's gone a bit slower on the internet. It might be using.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, of course it is.
He just wants to gripe about it.
Any more IT? Oh, it wasn't me. I put your hands above
AI's
the table.
Got upstairs, upset.
Can't say anything, can you?
No, because it might cut you off.
Getting upset. I didn't realize AI was so sensitive. Come on, cheer up, AI. Get with the program. Get with the human program, and we have a laugh about yourself. Madison is here.
Hey, Madison. It's really nice. Madison always pops over, doesn't he? When Veronica's on.
Yeah, absolutely. You are welcome at other times, Madison.
Yeah, you are.
You are very welcome. And we've got Joao F in as well while we're waiting for Veronica to come back. In fact, we could play a video first. Goodbye, everybody. What? Normally people say hello. Well, have a lovely day, Joao. You've probably got a busy day today. Guys, not guts, nor gits.
I think that must have been related to a previous...
out of context. Okay. Yeah. A slower than expected recovery. Okay, thanks for asking. A headache tonight. We'll hang in there for as long as I can. You guts are the cure. Okay, we got it. You guys. You have more than one show, hence GMP+. That's what that refers to.
Thank you, Sue.
And I do show up as Facebook user. Yes, it's me, Carl. You've got to give Facebook your permission. You know how keen they are on privacy and observing, respecting people's privacy. In this instance, they are, and you have to give your permission for your name to show up. If anyone's ever wondered why you show up as Facebook user, let's hear it from the psychotherapist. Hooah! Right, while Veronica's getting herself sorted out, I'm going to play her video of her recent Easter activities in the Algarve. Let's go with this.
Hello, friends. I'm sharing a quick clip of the Easter procession in Portugal in the small town of São Brás de Airportel. The town lines the streets with flowers, and then they march over them and chant. It's really amazing to see. Look at these streets. Oh, here's part of the profession. And the chanting. Hallelujah. And then comes And then we hop over into the church. Hi, Madison. Madison and John came along with me today, my friends from North Carolina. And so we popped into this church of Salbrosh. It's really beautiful. It was decorated and open to the public. And then I ran into friends that we'd met along the parade. Thank you for sharing your spot with us, our lovely British new friends. And guess what? You can buy beer and snacks on Sunday in Easter on town. Cheers, my friends.
Hey, how's your day going?
It's twice as good now.
Twice as good. Happy Easter. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers to Easter, friends.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, that's the first time I've heard cheers to Easter. Portugal's so great, isn't it? Yeah, beer, snacks, and Easter and flowers. And I love that chanting as well. The hallelujah was fantastic. Great video, Veronica. Madison, on the screen in so many ways this morning.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Great to see you there. Veronica is having some tech difficulties.
Yeah, she keeps popping in and popping out.
She does, doesn't she? So let's have a look at a couple of news headlines. Funnily enough, it might be something to do with the old platinum thing. Golden Visa investment doubles. Investment through the Golden Visa program more than doubled in March year on year. And American investors have replaced Chinese investors as the most dominant investors on that basis. So
Wow.
it's fascinating what's going on. Still no, as Bobby was saying yesterday, nobody has picked up on the job creation golden visa. So there must be a systemic problem in there somewhere that we were talking about. And we invite you, if you're an investor, entrepreneur, foreigner, and you'd like to be part of a roundtable, come join us and we'll host that roundtable. We'll continue that conversation. So Golden Visa investment doubles them in this last month in the rush for people to complete and buy into that scheme. It would appear it's quite popular. What are the numbers though? Because people do get terribly scared by, overrun golden visas.
Yeah.
Last month, 163 golden visas were granted, according to
Wow.
Lusa, of which 119 were for the acquisition of real estate, 70 for urban rehabilitation, that's always good to see, and 44 for capital transfer. Again, there were no ARIs. That's a residency document. That's what it's actually strictly known as the acronym ARI, the Golden Visa, and golden visas around the world, I think. But none were granted for job creation, and you can see more about that in the Portugal news. No pithy comments yet there, though, about
Which is
that
unusual because normally on the
do love a
Portugal
pithy
news you
comment.
get. You
They
get some-
maybe they haven't opened up the comments on that. Maybe they
Right.
shut the comments down or something. That was a wonderful time, says Madsen. At
It really
Sabrash
looks like it was.
Hotel, yeah.
And it's I always like that sort of like slight festival feel that you get, when those old
Every weekend.
when the old wooden beer huts come up down your street. I think that's
Oh,
lovely.
don't you?
Yeah.
Because the preparation is part of the fun, isn't it?
Yeah,
you
you
the
see
wooden
those pop
huts, the
up and then you think,
mushrooming.
yes.
Here we go. We're in for a good weekend. Haven't seen. Oh, going back to that information that was shared earlier. Haven't seen one child struck. What a word.
Yeah, I haven't
Here
heard that
in
word for
18
ages.
months. Unable to send video of a day of planting at the Horta. Edited video on the way. Fantastic. Cheers, Owen. We're enjoying your updates if you're growing. Can you improve on Andy Strawberry? American in Portugal, buying a home in Portugal.
Hi.
Subtitle Veronica.
No. When in doubt, reboot.
And you did, and it's working perfectly. Good stuff.
That's the first thing IT always asks at any corporation you're at. Can you reboot your system?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that. And it always works. So hello for real.
Hello,
Hi
my
there.
love.
Life's a bit like that as well, isn't it? Things do blow over, don't they? And if you have a little bit of a reboot occasionally, or breathe, for example, that works well. All right, you two.
We love each other.
I know. Look, there we go. Let's put you on the same.
Woo!
How about that? No,
Oh,
okay.
wrong way.
Hold on.
Which way?
No.
You'll make it work.
Wasn't it? It's like an ABBA cover.
Congenios to everyone.
It's a mad world. I need another guy here. Right.
It's a mad, mad world.
It's the ABBA tribute band this morning.
Yeah, I've got a pair
Apart
of
from
flares.
Bjorn's not here, or Benny. Do I look more like Bjorn or Benny?
There was one with red hair, wasn't there? I think.
No, I think we had
Wasn't
a brunette and a blonde.
Oh,
Yeah, unless
Okay.
one of the fellas was a redhead. I don't know. Didn't expect to be having that conversation, so I'm not prepared.
maybe
for
Carl Hyde can join up, join our special troop.
it. Is he a redhead?
No, but you wanted another man.
Oh, I
didn't
see.
you?
Okay, yeah.
If not, Madison's going to have to step in
Confusing,
because I know he's
okay.
a good singer. You
What
know,
are they-
I've
what-
seen
Yes!
karaoke
Wasn't that
videos.
wonderful? I didn't get
Yeah,
a
he could
see
probably-
with
he
Madison.
could probably do
manage
some
it,
ABBA, couldn't he?
I think he'd be up for that.
You up for that,
I've got a
Madison?
feeling. Yeah. What
Oh,
are we going
he's
to do?
a
Money, money, money.
fabulous singer. Bon
he?
dia. Hello, Madison. I wish we could get you on and get you singing. He's phenomenal. Oh, yeah, because we heard in that video, but then, he does do the karaoke and oh my gosh.
Yes. Well, you're very welcome, Madison, if you want to join us. We probably won't be doing an ABBA tribute this morning. We've got a lot to squeeze in. What have you been? I mean, 1 minute you're in Barcelona, you're Sabrasha del Portel. You are quite the traveler. Can we catch up with you for a moment? Where have you been?
Yes, I love Portugal. In fact, my next article that I'm writing I write for the East Algarve magazine. And next month is all about how amazing where we live, that you can be in Gibraltar in 3.5 hours. You can be in Seville in 1.5 hours. You can hop a flight, be in Barcelona in 2 hours. You can be in Salbras de Arpotel in 45 minutes. I took Madison Madison said he'd love to. I took Madison and some other friends to, well, I didn't take him to the doctor's appointment, but I was going to Villamor.
Sometimes we need that, though, don't we?
I'm already driving an hour. Somebody come with me, and we had a lovely lunch on the water, overlooking the boats on the marina. And then we went upstairs to the Atlantic bar, and it was empty, but it's a piano bar. And I asked them, can Madison play? And they've got this beautiful grand piano, and he just started whipping it out.
No way.
Oh, wow.
What a legend.
Mm.
Isn't it fantastic when that happens? That is like, to me, it's just one of those moments, isn't it, where somebody with that skill just can change a day like that.
Yeah.
And change the atmosphere. It's fantastic.
He's magic. He came into our world, and we love him.
Yeah. Well, you can come into our world this morning, Madison. If you'd like to come and say hello, maybe we will be doing a tribute.
Oh, I could share
it
the
sounds
link.
like we might be letting the side down. I mean, no disrespect to you two, but he sounds like a really competent player and singer.
Mm.
And we're the karaoke amateurs here, are we not?
Yeah, I don't really.
Not that we wouldn't put our heart and soul into it, but he just sounds next level, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he is next level, but it's fabulous because, when we do karaoke or something and we're all, cracking up and laughing, and then you get a break with somebody who just belts it out and makes you cry,
Oh my goodness, he's like that, is he?
Wow.
Yeah.
What's his signature tune? What does he like to do?
Madison, what was your signature? What's the one that made us cry? I think he sang
Oh,
it
my word.
to Sean, his partner, and we were all just like, whoa, melted.
Yeah, quick, put My Way on. No, not My Way. I Will Survive. No, not I Will Survive.
No, that's the song I always sing because you don't sing it.
Right.
Really, you talk it. First, I was afraid. I was
Ah,
petrified.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not really singing. You're just kind of talking. That's my go-to.
We might have been a bit too ambitious in some of our earlier karaoke days because we did things like
Nothing if not ambitious at karaoke.
like Don't Go Breaking My Heart, Elton John and Kiki D.
Yeah.
And it's just too high pitched. And some of those like Guilty by Barbara Streisand and the Bee Gees is just a bit too.
Have we got nothing? Have we got nothing to be guilty? Right. Now I'm crying already.
The first time I ever saw your face. Oh my god.
That's what it was.
I'm feeling a bit stirred up already. Just seeing the title, let alone hearing you sing it.
I'm just being taken. I'm transformed back to like the 70s now, like the late 70s, early 80s genre of music.
Yeah. Best times for music, no question. All right. That's not a debate. It is the 1970s were the best time for music. Okay. Right. Veronica, where were we? We were all flying all over the world and around Europe.
Travel. So my article is on that, of course, and loving where we live and feeling so fortunate and blessed that when we're not traveling, we've got this, right? And the river and the ocean, pine forest, trees, and a river that's just, that's me getting my rooftop together. That took 3 hours. There was birdie poop all over there. And, everything was dusty and you've got to wash the cushion covers.
Yeah.
And then it's the decorating. So
is that your view then?
Yeah, it's my view. It's bright.
That's nice.
Not too
Do you know what?
shabby.
When I see that, Veronica, I imagine some kind of Mission Impossible kind of thing. I
Yeah.
want to like parkour over
Jason
all the
Bourne.
tops.
Jason Bourne is going to arrive any minute, isn't
I
it?
want to go running on all those roofs and like jump from roof
That's
to roof.
absolutely
Obviously, I
lovely.
can't do that at all, but
In your mind,
You know,
in my mind, I really can.
Yeah, you
and
can
I
sing
You know,
like-
I love Louisa, and you know, if you need a break, I've got a guest room. You know, my one girlfriend just left her husband for a whole night and came down, and we had girls' time.
Stop
So
it. Stop it.
you're welcome to come too, Carl. But
Oh, okay, that's better.
and I've got 2 pull-outs in the living room, so we could put the kids there, and then just
Oh, fantastic. That's so
have some
kind
fun.
of you. Thank you very much indeed. Well, that's so beautiful where you
walk
live.
on the roof.
Yeah,
jump
yeah.
off.
What could
Do you know
possibly go
what?
wrong? They'll be
Sleeping
fine
on the
up there.
roof could be quite fun
Couldn't it
on
just?
on a good evening, you know.
Oh my goodness. And favorite cocktail so far then this year up on the roof there or entertainment? What's going on?
We did a lot of gin and tonics because that's somewhat new to us Americans, and we feel so fancy now that we're having a G&T. We even got
hold on a
the
minute. How come
you
Leo,
don't
a
have that?
G&T. And then Madison has found pear vodka, and so he makes
Ooh.
these fabulous. We've got to show his house. He bought 2 houses. He bought one, and then we showed him another one. He fell in love with that one.
Why not? Why not? I'll have that one as well. Come on, don't show him a third one.
Well, he knew that was going to be the stopover house, either to rent or sell or whatnot. But
Right.
he's got one just at the very end of the river there. So he's got a river view.
Wow.
And he made a beautiful bar, makes my little bar look hokey. But he has a gorgeous bar, and he stocked it up with pear vodka. So now we go to his house too. So we can go
So
house
Americans
hopping.
you don't normally drink gin and tonic?
No, it's really not an American thing. Like, we wouldn't just go in a bar and do a gin and tonic. We would do like a Cosmo or just a straight up vodka and something, you know.
Do a Cosmo. What does that mean? Tell me.
You didn't watch
Cosmo.
Sex in the City.
No, I didn't. I was. Would have been wrong. I think.
My husband used to watch it with me.
Really?
He used to get
Maybe-
a kick out of it because it was all
Well,
about
that's what-
dating and
Yeah.
sex in New York and the crazy stuff that happens. I could start a show with that here.
Yeah, what would you call it? What would you
couldn't
call it?
Sex in the Algarve, of course.
So, no sex in the Algarve because you can't get to the 3rd date because instead of opening the
What?
door for you, they slam it in your face.
What?
Oh my goodness, there are so
How
many. I can't
outrageous.
cope. Hold on a minute. Gin and tonics, cosmopolitans, sex in the Algarve, slamming doors in faces. What is happening this morning? We need to we need to rewind a little bit here.
We
Okay.
have girlfriend time.
Oh my. Right. Do you want me to step out for a minute? Okay.
Can we crowdsource somebody with
You can't hear me. If
that
you
has
step out.
manners?
All right.
They
okay.
don't have to be attractive. They don't have to be tall. Just have some manners.
But we're talking possibly about like a Sex in the City spoof with an Algarve flavor. I mean, it sounds like a cocktail already, doesn't it?
You know what'd be really funny is to do it, but instead of those young thing, the older ones like us retired, because it's just the funny stories. That whole show is just about the funny stories.
It is,
Yeah.
isn't it? So okay, let's complete on cocktails and then go to dating in the Algarve, because I hear that might need a
Forget
little bit.
real estate.
Dating in the Algarve is quite a good title or meme, isn't it?
Which one?
Dating in the Algarve.
Dating in the Algarve.
Dating
I'd
stories.
watch that.
I'd watch something
definitely
like
watch it.
or internet dating.
Yes, we need a good
Because,
acronym.
like, you know, I know from back in my internet dating days that was rife of, you know, for awful stories, bad manners, bad behavior, and
Let's call it DIA.
DIA.
Dating in the Algarve. It's like MIA.
Dating in the Algarve,
If your
there you
love
go.
life is MIA, watch DIA. Right.
I'll be the pawn you can make fun of.
Oh no!
Oh, no, no,
We have to be
no.
able to tell the truth. We have to be able to say, well, he was really nice, but he called me fat.
Seriously. Okay.
I hope no one ever did that to you.
Oh, I did. I went on a date with a guy, and he's like, what have you been eating?
Well, you can let's name and shame that idiot here right now, maybe.
Oh my god!
What is wrong with you, man? Who
When he
said
had just had cancer and he couldn't eat and half his throat was gone. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm here with this lovely gentleman. I'm going to get to know him. And he's like, oh, what have you been eating?
It's a bit bitter.
I'm like, you don't have half a face. Be nice.
Okay, and I don't know.
Oh my
I want to
goodness.
ask what happened after that, but
I said, thank you very much. I don't think we need to have dinner. I'm happy with the cocktail. Clearly, I don't need it.
classy.
I don't need dinner.
Classy. Yes, well
That's very
done. Yeah,
classy.
you didn't lose it. You just just call time on that. Perfect. Perfect.
Do you know what I
response.
prefer? Classy in the Algarve.
Classy in the
Yeah.
Algarve. But that's CIA, and that could get us all kinds of viewers.
That could work because my husband was NSA, my daughter was NSA, I was Homeland Security, so you know.
Oh my goodness.
Perfect.
I
Okay.
got the NSA lanyard.
Could that be part of the, could that be a dating difficulty if that's on your profile? I used to work for the CIA and Homeland. You know, people immediately think of Robert De Niro, don't they? Meet the Fockers. That you might have one of those special camper
I
vans.
shoot people on the weekends. What do you do?
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Let's just pay for the cocktails and go. Okay.
I'm not a spy. My neighbors called me that once.
They always say
Everybody
that,
in town thinks you're a spy. Why
spies
else would
always
an
say
American move here?
Oh my goodness, this is such a great conversation
So
this
this
morning.
is kind of like about perceptions, isn't it, of foreigners in the Algarve?
It is,
That's
isn't it?
why I love you. Look
Why?
at how quickly she's like misconceptions in the Algarve because you're just amazing because of
Oh,
that.
thank you.
Who has
You
got a
can take
sex
bundle of
toy on in the
wackadoodle and
background?
clarify it.
Have you got a vibrator on in the
Look,
background?
I've got to ask a serious
I
question.
know somebody's drilling next door. Clearly not me.
This is another TV show, though, right? Who's got a sex toy on? And you've got to look at the faces on the screen and see guess which one it is where that noise is coming from
I'm going to be
their
the one that
apartment.
gets accused because I've got like a red face from my hot shower earlier.
But that's what's so good about this game, because that would be a wrong guess, wouldn't it? It's like she looks like the one who's got the rabbit going on in the. I don't know what. Stop it! What
It was
happens
you
when
that went down
okay,
that.
all right.
What's everybody saying? Come on.
A cosmopolitan is a pink vodka drink. Okay.
No, it's vodka and cranberry juice.
Well, that would make it pink, wouldn't it?
But it's
Wasn't it
not
red?
pink because you put color in it. It's pink because it's a very important proper ladies drink. It's
Okay.
it's in a martini glass, so you can spill it everywhere before you can drink it. And then it's whoever created it.
I'm going to respond to these noises now. Oh, it's gone now. As soon as you do that, it goes, doesn't it? Isn't that fantastic?
So I'm just going to spend the time like this.
Oh, it's all gone very quiet. That's great. Oh, we
You did it
with the power of the mind. Right. So the Cosmo, it has vodka in. We can agree on that, and cranberry juice. What's going on now?
I saw your dude in the corner, and I said,
Oh, you're raising yes. I'll raise your cockerel with one of my own there.
Oh wait, let me put him back.
Play the game again now.
Is it that loud? I'm sorry. Let me go yell at my window. Shut up. How do you say shut up in Portuguese? No, we don't want to learn.
It's good. I'm enjoying
Words
it.
you don't want to learn in Portuguese.
Madsen says, I've not met a cocktail I didn't like. Oh, a Nubianette. Morning, everyone. Hey, I'm a G&T person. I love gin. Gin tonico, not gin and tonic here, it's gin tonico. Yes, T-Duck may have a thing or two to say about the G&T.
We've been a bit partial to it recently, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
We got a little tip from T-Duck to put a star anise, didn't we?
Yeah, it's very nice.
What's it called here? The Estrella, isn't
Yeah.
it? The star spice, of course. Here we go. This is fantastic. This is the news we've been waiting for this morning. Madison is going to create an Algarve themed cocktail.
So what would go into it?
So it
then,
could be a
Veronica?
CIA.
Yeah, what would you put in? I know what he would put in. Pear vodka.
Pear
Because pear
vodka's
vodka is
good
so
to be
good. Madison can do anything. Okay. Can I give a big kudos to our fastest moving person to Portugal? So last year he had contacted me. I think it was after summer. And I said, here's what you need to do. And he was interested in this area. And we said, we can help you. And then boom, sold his house, came over here, got his NIF, got his bank account. When they flew over in the same day, they flew from America. So they'd flown all night. They drove to the attorney's office, got the basic documents they needed, got their bank account, drove here, which is another hour from Faro to here, came and met us at one of our wine and paint drinking nights. And then I gave him a tour around town, and then they crashed. But since like January, they've been on it. They bought their place. He just went to his SCF and got his card within, was it 2 weeks, Madison? They mailed your card. The SCF is mailing them out quick now.
That's
And
great
then-
to hear. Really good news.
So it was his birthday. He just bought a car. He found pear vodka, which is an impossible in any country, and found it here, had a case of it shipped in, and had a surprise birthday party.
This is Madsen, the miracle worker, clearly.
Yeah. We need to have him on. He's really
You're
nice.
very
he
welcome.
sounds- he sounds very good.
Yeah, you're welcome
The
today.
Madison Show, we love you.
And yes, wonderful. So an Algarve cocktail. Please do share that with us, and we'll maybe we'll
We're
mix it up
getting
live
some
on
show
air.
suggestions
We should
in the
mix it up.
comments.
Oh, okay.
He's also a DJ. We had a DJ night with him. We did a bar takeover. He brought he bought a fog machine and lasers. Well, you saw it, I think, on the
Yeah, it was incredible. Everyone
yeah,
needs
that was
a
him.
Madison in their life. Leader of the pack. We had first, last, everything from Owen, karaoke favorites. Leader of the pack, needles and pins. Stop dragging my heart around. I dreamed a dream. Gosh, hitting the high notes there. But we haven't taken. It sounds like we've taken Susie's karaoke machine hostage. We're looking after it. We'll make sure you're reunited with that, Suze. Bon dia Toros from Francis in South Africa. Oh my, spook alert. Here you go. Real Housewives of the Algarve. That's quite a good name for that.
What if you're not a housewife, though?
Lady of Leisure.
Ladies of Leisure of the Algarve. Is that Lala? Ladies of Leisure. That's Lola, isn't it? The Lola Show.
Lola, she
Yeah.
was
Another good karaoke favorite.
I know that.
And
She's a sweetheart.
don't
She
wrong
is.
Veronica, her family. No, there's no need to be like that. I trust. I just tuned in. Oh my. Yeah, that must
Actually, I could because I've had to delete a couple people who weren't playing nice in the sandbox, and it's hurtful to do that, but I had to do it.
Now, when
So
you say
we can
delete
disappear off our group.
but when you say delete, you're just talking about blocking and deleting. You're not talking about deleting, are you?
Delete.
Stop-
Delete's got a new term.
Right. Okay.
Cancel culture.
Get your cover story in there early. Hot shower indeed. And okay, we're getting. These are funny, aren't they? What are they called? I guess sex shop is just the most unprosaic title. Or is that prosaic? Yeah, most prosaic. Love shop, love store, whatever you might.
We have one called Cupid. It's a huge one as you enter Albufera. Of course, Albufera, the party city. You see this huge Cupid, and then
Entering
another one just says
Albufera. Yes, indeed.
sex shop. Like, gee,
Yeah,
wonder what that is.
PDR has the sexy spot, and yeah, it is like a bit like 70s UK with the advent of people are very open about sex shops here in Portugal, like ceramic
I don't think I've
phalluses.
seen them.
Have you
I've seen
not?
ceramic phalluses everywhere.
Yeah,
but-
exactly. It's quite an open.
Oh, we
market.
had that at our Christmas party. Remember, it is a thing.
did.
Like it has a name, and
Yeah.
it's just it's a cultural thing. I've got to look it up again. But you find them at shops. Grandmas have them. Everything. You put your plants in the top.
Of course you do.
Is that what you do?
Salt-
Because
salt
you
and
can't
pepper.
really. I can't imagine sitting on one of those. Sorry.
No,
Please
no.
don't. I mean, why
no.
would you imagine sitting on one of those?
No.
They don't look very comfortable.
Glass.
I can't. I mean, I'm sure we have shocked some viewers into deleting themselves this morning.
Sarah's awake now. Sarah.
This is
Let's go through this.
unbelievable this morning. Vodka, Cointreau, cranberry juice. There we go. That's a cosmopolitan, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, Thunder Duck. I didn't know there was a control.
A freshly squeezed lime juice. I'm salivating at the very sound of that. It's 28 minutes past 9. We haven't talked about real estate or anything serious. I don't care. I don't mind. I don't
Real
want to
estate
deprive.
is great, right? We know that things are moving fast.
Yeah.
People are buying, putting on offers, are making sure that we've trained the real estate agents to do everything right. People are getting clean deals. The most important thing is they reopen the Golden Visa, which I'm sure you've talked about.
Okay. All right. Nice little update there. We can get back to the smart. Algarve cocktail. That's the name for it. We've got
it's
to
great,
do this, haven't
Stephen.
we? We've
Or
got
is
to
it
do
Stephen?
Stephen. Yeah, Stephen. He's good on this sort of thing. Yeah, funny guy, perceptive guy, and he's come up with a cracking name there. Algarve cocktail. Very good. July. My appointment was 28th of March. Got my card 18th of April.
That's amazing.
That is cracking progress. that.
Wow, really fast. And he was
Housewives.
really on it. You know what? Can we share Madison's tip? Madison
say.
found out doing all of that. I'm not that.
Okay. Right, okay.
He's been crowdsourcing everything and looking at all those sites, even the negative Nelly ones. And he found out if you register with your camera before you go into your SCF, so go and register as a resident just with your local camera before your SCF appointment, that kind of trumps everything. When they look at that, they go, wow. And have your boarding pass, because he had everything, and all the people that have now gotten that paper from your camera that you're an official resident in town, even though you're not official in the country, you did come in on your D7, that you bring that with you. And we have people saying it's been so anticlimactic. Everyone's worried about their SCF appointment, and they go in, especially if you're lucky enough to get Tavira or Faro, because they're used to so many foreigners or immigrants, excuse me. And they said it's been anticlimactic. It was like, boom, boom, looked at that, done. Here's your fingerprint, whatnot. But Madison was really good at Googling and found that fact. And then the other thing is, as he was leaving, ready to pay, they're like, oh, do you have your boarding pass? He's like, what do I need my boarding pass for? I have my passport stamped. So just keep that handy. Good tips from Madison.
Boarding passes. Yeah, I mean, that's generally the rule, isn't it? Is take as much as you possibly can to the meetings. Look prepared, be prepared. And that is just so great. Yeah, thank you for sharing all of that information. Really helpful to people, because it is anxiety provoking, isn't it?
He was worried. And I think that's why you do as much preparation as you can, because luck favors the prepared, right?
Absolutely right. That's right.
The bigger the binder, the more they're afraid. We're going to be here all day. He has everything. You're good.
I want to see somebody, maybe one of the little scenes in the Algarve cocktail. We can have somebody wheeling in an actual 3-drawer metal filing cabinet into a CEF meeting. The bottom one's full of booze, but the other two is like, traditional drinks cabinet style. But the other two are full of paperwork, and boarding pass, you say? Just pull out the drawer. Yes, I've got it here somewhere. Perfect. We could have that as a little vignette.
I actually saw a little video, like a spoof video of people doing that in France and going for their sort of official visit in France. And it was hilarious. I have to find it, because
they were sort of, yes, I've got
needing staples and paper clips. Have you photocopies?
Have you got a Q-tip that you've used recently?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
What? Here's a use. You need the swab from the.
They don't really ask for that in France, but it's only a matter of time under Macron's leadership, I suspect. Although it'll be burnt promptly by the French, I suspect. Okay, a lot of those housewives are not married, nor are they housewives. True.
I don't watch it. I can't. I just can't. I was from Orange County, which was the original, Housewives of Orange County, and lived in Newport Beach. And I just thought, oh, this is so over the top.
Okay.
They just.
Yes. A bit too close to home, possibly there. A bit like when we watch Only Wears Essex, isn't it, love?
Huh? No. I've never watched that program ever.
I'm not from there.
Or Chelsea or anything like
yes, that's more me. The Only Way is Chelsea.
Check you out.
Great show, guys. Got to go early. Need to pick up the young lady from school. Oh, horrible when you get the call from school.
Chicken pox. That went through here too last year.
Did it?
Get your kids vaccinated, because it can come back later, I guess.
Do you know what? I have actually happy memories of having chicken pox.
You're funny like that, though, aren't you?
No, like my mum played her latest album.
Was it ABBA?
It was ABBA.
Yeah.
Me and my sister sat lying down, watching television, listening to ABBA in the background. It was great. And all I've got is one scar.
Yeah, I nursed my 2 daughters through chickenpox. That's the worst thing about
chickenpox. A really bad thing in America? Because like in the UK, it's just seen as a normal
child. Well, we used to think it's no big deal, and you put your children together so they would get it younger, not older. But it stays. The virus stays in your system. It can really create havoc as you age. Like you can get shingles, and it can completely destroy you later. Like you really don't want to expose your kids to it.
You've got the.
I've actually had shingles,
the
as well.
herpes, the shingles,
and it's from
yeah, it's all the simplex virus, is it not? So yeah, hope that goes well. And in my experience, the worst thing about it is the scarring. Aloe or something like that on the scars, and encourage your kids not to scratch them, because it can leave a scar.
Yeah, I think we had socks on our hands.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you do puppet
felt like
shows.
Torture.
Yeah. Okay. Of course. I did as well. Different reasons. So, the sexy spot.
I actually need to disappear now.
No.
We've got Carl Hyde. Wait, you got to say hello to Carl.
Okay. We're chatting later.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Carl. Of course, we need Helen.
Sorry, we were doing a sex shop reviews. Carl.
Let's see his face.
We've been talking about
I've heard a
cocktails.
little bit of what's been going on, so yeah.
Sorry,
You got
mate.
your swag on today.
Look
Nice
at him.
swag.
He's
Yeah.
Nice t-shirt.
Wear your red
That's
flag.
because I couldn't create a background in time, so I was trying to do that yesterday. It wasn't working, so I thought, right,
You look great.
t-shirt.
Do you know what? Doing the blur
Some
makes it look
background.
like you're in a busy
Busy guy.
environment.
Busy
Cosmo.
guy.
I'm not.
Uh,
I'll kill the illusion straight away. But yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, great to see you. You're just in time to hear that the sexy spot is pretty awesome. The owner has lived in the Algarve for 25 or 30 years and is open every day of the year. What? Personal customer service is her forte.
That sounds a bit naughty.
It does. So you've got to go, Miss
Show me how this
Emily.
works. No,
it's
show
very
me.
open, isn't it?
Was it something Carl said?
No, I've got to
Right.
get the kids
This is
ready. We've got a parental breakfast, haven't we? So
Parental breakfast
the-
makes it sound
we're
very serious.
we're going
doesn't it?
to have breakfast with the parents.
Oh, okay.
so,
Yeah, it's like Meet the Fockers today, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Great
love
stuff.
that name.
Okay.
All right, it's been lovely hanging out with you, Veronica.
Okay.
I'll be in
chat
touch later on today
honey.
as well with
Yes.
that thing.
Come visit.
What? More recommendations, perhaps. Okay. All
Lots of
right.
love.
See you
Bye,
later, Mrs.
Carl.
M. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Right.
I like how that
So,
just
it's a Carl sandwich for Veronica this morning.
Yay, thank you. Yeah, this show's going the good way.
That's kind of sandwich.
So how are you, Carl? I mean, you say you're not busy. I'm sure you are.
I'm busy.
Yes. What's been going on?
Just a slow start to the day, so yeah. But there's a lot going on, and yeah, it's the season sort of thing now. So I think the past few weeks we've noticed it a lot more calls coming in, more inquiries. So it's just sort of gone from being steady to,
Yes.
away with it kind of thing. So,
It's a springtime atmosphere, isn't it? I think
does.
that's what happens. It's certainly one of the seasons, isn't it, of real estate interest. And you have been partying, I think, as well. It's fair to say. The agency launch. Look at you there with your agency launch. What can you talk through? Is that Bono in the picture?
That was actually a launch, not a launch, but it was to sort of celebrate a development that we are representing, One Green Way, which is down in the Algarve in Quinta do Lago. So that was like an event that we had down there. The founder of the agency, Mauricio Omansky, came to Portugal for 4 days. There he is, front and centre there. That picture was actually taken in Estoril. So he spent 3 or 4 days with us. First day was in Lisbon and Estoril, and then we're headed down to the Algarve to look at several very interesting projects down there. One of them was Greenway, which is the picture before that. That was like I suppose you could call it the party, which was great atmosphere. Yeah, fantastic.
Living the dream, mate. Living the dream with the
It really
agents.
is, yeah, so privileged. So privileged.
Yeah. Well, people, I know people get together, companies get together. They need to do a bit of PR. But people look like they're genuinely having a great time in all these photographs. Is that the vibe of the agency?
It really is. It is for sure. It is just about having a good time, enjoying what you do. And if you're enjoying what you do, then you're gonna do a better job. You know what I mean? You're selling luxury real estate. Have a good time doing it. So they really do know how to throw a party and have a good time. So yeah, it was. It was a fantastic weekend. Very tiring, going down to the Algarve and drive down, the drive back. But, sort of upped my knowledge a bit of the geography down there as well, because I've only been a few times. I stayed near to Quinta do Lago in a place called Val do Lobo.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
A colleague of mine has a villa there. So we stayed there for the weekend. I mean, it's a beautiful place. It's pristine. There's no litter. Even the trees look like they've been, manicured.
Yes.
So yeah, you start thinking, maybe I could live down here. One day, maybe.
Isn't that Portugal though? I mean,
yeah.
A long time ago, I came up with this idea of San Martino de Porto syndrome, because that's how it occurred to us. We came here and we thought, well, this is the place to live. Then we went somewhere else and maybe it's this place. And then next week, another one. And that to me is, what I call San Martino de Porto syndrome. Everyone will have their own word or their own place for it, where their head has been turned again and again and again and again.
Well, I do that with homes a lot. So you know, I go into somebody else's home. I think I should have bought something like this. And I do it so, you know, sort of, it hurts after a while, but you know, you do think like that. But yeah, great place, great weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic.
Great stuff. Apparently, friends don't let friends listen to ABBA. Controversial there. Part of the great 70s soundtrack. Come on,
dancing with me.
And Darren's in as well. Morning, Darren. Why do the mornings go so fast? I don't know. Veronica, why do the mornings go so fast?
Because we have fun on the show.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, you're talking with your friends and yeah, you're learning stuff, but what a lovely morning, right? To sit, have a coffee, learn about real estate, have a Carl sandwich, learn about the sex bombs, what a cosmo is.
Now you mention it. Yeah, I'd definitely do something like that. Oh, I do. Great. So have we got a message from your founder as well? You sent me a video, Carl.
There's a few swears in this video, so if anybody's offended, you know, put it on.
Really bad? Really seriously offensive?
There's an F-bomb at the start, but it's all in good fun. It's not, you know, it's just light-hearted fun, but, you know, that's, if you don't want to play it, I fully understand that.
No, it's time for me to play a game in that case. So where's my...
Your beeper?
Yeah. I'm going to try and anticipate when he does it. As Carl says, the founder here of the agency is quite excited, and he's giving a little message. I think is this a motivational message to the team?
It's just about, you know, I suppose it's about his feelings about Portugal right at the start, and then it's just those agents having a good time, really. You know, at this One Green Way development sort of party. So it's harmless. There's a few swears in there. But
if you are offended by swearing, I mean, if you're offended, you're probably still not watching the show after.
Well, I would agree with that.
Minutes. But there is going to be some swearing now. We're going to another level, and I'm going to do my best to bleep it out. Here we go. Portugal is fucking amazing. Wow. I want to buy one of these houses. Tell us more about One Green Way. What happened there that day?
Well, I mean, that was just a bit of a party and a launch event, a way to introduce us agents to the project, you know, and just to get a vibe for it, and also from resale too. He's come all the way from Beverly Hills. You know, he's a very busy guy. Had a very busy 3 days, as you can imagine. But yeah, I mean, One Green Way. It's in. I forget the name of the area. Quinta do Lago. It's like 89 service luxury homes, various sizes and you know, amenities. But it's very high end stuff. You know what I mean? We're talking chef kitchens, gyms, spas, wine cellars, cocktail kitchens, all kinds of stuff. But you know,
cocktail kitchen.
And what's the price range they're going for over there? The price range and association, so people can kind of know.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it is very high end stuff. So I mean, they start at 3.9 million and go all the way up to 9.2 million.
4 to 9 million, and then monthly fees. If you have that much money, you might not worry about the monthly.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that actually. I need to look into that. But yeah, exactly. It's for a very specific segment of the market for sure. You know, but I just thought it was something interesting to show everyone today, something a little bit different. But I mean, it's a beautiful place. You know, it's one of the the most prestigious sort of locations, I would say, in Europe, let alone in Portugal. You know, and to have a property there, you know, rubbing shoulders with a rich and famous, if that's your thing, you know, it just looks amazing. The project does look amazing. So, yeah.
And, what the One Green Way? What does the green refer to there? The golf, the environment, or the decor?
You know, I'm not sure. I would imagine it's the golf because they do have several world-class golf courses there. You know, award-winning golf courses. So I imagine that's what it'll be. There's a beach that runs along the north end of it. So yeah, depending on where you live on this estate, you're going to have different views. But you know, you may well be looking out onto the ocean. On one of the golf courses, there's a lake. So we're talking spectacular property with spectacular views, very high end. Yeah, I'll give you a link there. So, you know,
we call it the Golden Triangle: Quinta de Lago, Val de Lobo, kind of Villamora up into Almondsill, and
I'd never been to that area.
All planned, so everything is planned out, kind of like the Irvine of California, where it's been planned. So you get that. Here's a golf course, and then here's where we've placed the homes, so that you get.
It is all designed. You know, and it's just beautiful. I'd never been there. I'd never been to Val de Lobo. I'd never been to Quinta del Lago. But just to be around that place, I mean, it really is something else. You know, it's
the website.
Modern houses.
It's spectacular.
Lots of modern. For those that we call it kind of the Newport Beach of the Algarve, but very modern, very modern.
Yeah.
Wow. This is very beautiful, and part of the diverse offer, isn't it, of Portugal? You know, it's so great that we have this like high end stuff, as you call it, car in Portugal, and bargains still. That's the sweet spot, I suppose, at the moment that we're enjoying, isn't it? And I don't know, you know, things change, life changes, societies change, and you can't hold on to things. But it would appear right about now is a wonderful sweet spot for Portugal, where this sort of thing is going on, and you can still get a bargain in central Portugal. We've got questions coming in about rentals in Villarreal de Santo Antonio, so we'll come to that. Thank you, Mr. S, for being here this morning and asking that question. And another little mailbag thing as well that I would like to share with you both. Before I do, apparently when music's playing or I'm running a video, I can't do the bleeps. So I was bleeping. You weren't hearing me. So all the effing and jeffing and essing came out. So apologies if anyone was offended, but it wasn't.
You can see that's true LA, baby. That's LA. You got the fun. You got the boom, 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 boom.
It was LA in the Algarve, wasn't it? I mean, the letters L and A are in the Algarve, of course, which I guess is another marketing PR thing that could be seized upon at some point. But that video is amazing. Where you've been is amazing just recently, and it sounds like you're having a ball working with the agency. So good for you, Carl Hyde.
Thank you. Yeah, it is
well done.
Yeah. All right, mate. So Veronica, one for you. And we might generalize this actually because it's useful to know this sort of information for Lisbon as well, I think. Hi, Veronica. Come winter, is it possible to find rentals temporary in Villarreal de Santo Antonio? So what happened?
Yeah, temporary rentals are available. I think that's kind of been our hard thing that there's been an issue with is ever since with the D7 visa and even with the visa that's for the digital nomad, they changed it from like a 6-month to a 12-month rental contract. All the 12-month rentals are gone, but seasonal ones are still available. So, I mean, I just don't do rentals. I mean, I'll help a few people. If one comes in, if they're in my pipeline, I'll be like, okay, you wanted to rent to own. Okay, we can kind of do that, but just consistent rentals. It's a tough market. We have 3 right now, but they're all like 4th floor, you know, with no elevator. And that's harder for our retired people. A lot of people are retired, but the off season, there's lots of those. That's an easy peasy one. Don't ask for in the summertime because no way.
It's part of the dynamic, isn't it? Of course.
Yeah. I had a lady reach out to me that wanted, oh, hi, I'm coming for 3 months and I want like July, August, September. And I'm like, okay, there might be that, but you're going to have to go on Airbnb and pay weekly what you'd pay a month. They're going to be paying, you know, $8,000, if not more a month for a small apartment, you know, on the beach and the river. I mean,
Sorry, say that again. How much?
It can be up to $8,000 a month in the summer.
$8,000 a month for an apartment?
Because you're paying weekly rates. Because people would go in a hotel.
Yes. Now, an interesting idea came up in conversation with somebody earlier this week, whereby a great agency would be one that helps you with your winter rental down south and your summer rental elsewhere in Portugal. So where you get the best of both of those worlds. I mean, it's great, isn't it, to spend out of peak time in the Algarve, and you can have a fantastic winter there. And then when it gets warm and hot and busy, you could go elsewhere in the countryside. So I guess for that, you'd be looking at a company that owns a lot of properties or has access to people with a lot of properties. But wouldn't that be a fantastic little service? Because that's why people, I think, don't rely too much on a winter let in the Algarve, because they're thinking it's going to be stressful by the time I've got to get out and someone's breathing down my neck to vacate.
Oh, no, there's plenty of people that want to do it because they don't want to be here in the summer. So you've got the Canadians, the people from their cold countries. So you have to think all of Northern Europe, they want to come here in the off season. Our friends that we just found them a house here from Ireland are like, in winter, we're all sitting around at the cafe. Yeah, it's sunny, so it's still kind of warm, but we still have our jackets on. They're like, what are you doing? It's so warm. And we're like, so when they're coming from those like ice cold, well, Ireland's not ice cold, but when you're talking, way up north, some of the Netherlands, it's freezing. And in fact, one of the agents I work with now just hopped over to, oh shoot, I think it was Belgium. And she says, we have to bring coats. Oh no.
Yeah, but
I want to go now.
You're going to get that thing though, aren't you? I mean, landlords start getting twitchy come, June, and they're thinking, okay, we need to get these people out of the apartment. They've had a nice winter there, but you've got to go now because we're about to make $8,000 a month.
Yeah. No, and they have that contract that's, in fact, that's what stressed me out. I don't like that it's forced 12-month, but when I first came here and then I went to buy, I only had an 8-month rental, and it was stressful because you just get here, you just get organized, you look where you want to live, and then it's like, boom, I've got to buy something now because I have to be out. Like I have to close escrow. I had cash, and almost all my clients are cash buyers, so you can have a quick transaction. But hi, Miss S.
What's that?
Sorry, yeah.
He's a busy guy. He's got deals coming in.
I wish. No, that's the pool repairman. So yeah, another bill.
Good problem to have. Good problem to have.
But it is very stressful when you have that 8-month and you're then trying to buy. But for the people who are just snowbirds, it's great. But the rentals don't make any money here. So a lot of your agents, they don't want to do them because for 8 months, the owner might give you 1 month rental for finding the client, and you've got to split it with someone else, and you split it with your agency. You could work with someone 30 hours that's never going to buy, and you might get $3 an hour. You have to maximize your time. And I think there's not a lot of property management agencies. They just give it to an agent and say, find us somebody. But for 8 months, then what do they do in the summer if they don't go home?
Exactly.
I have some clients some colleagues in the Algarve, and they're the same. I've sort of directed people to them for rentals, and they just say, I'm not touching it. It's just too much. There's not enough property. It's just almost impossible. And I thought it was bad in Lisbon, but it would seem like it's worse in the Algarve. So
yeah.
So the way to get them is to go. We're missing a bit of your context and comment here. That's why choosing your fave place isn't about scouting. However, when you go to the Algarve, the place to find these rentals then is not through the agents and the agencies, but in bars, isn't it, and cafes, and talk to local people who might have them.
You need to ask around. And I mean, I had one where it was just my friend that owns the bike shops. Like, hey, Veronica, I have a guy who needs to rent his place. I'm like, I don't do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be kind. I went and saw it. And that same day, an American, it was like, Veronica, I know you're not really into rentals, but we've looked everywhere. We can't find anything. I'm like, lucky you. I'm going to see this one. We'll do a video call. And they're like, we'll take it. And I think that we have to set that expectation that you can't be super picky. If you need this for your visa, just get it. It's not, you can't say, I need to start in June and I'm here in December and it needs to be, oceanfront in the center of town with 3 acres and I want to pay $50. The expectation here, I think, has been set wrongly by many of the expat publications, that it's unreasonably cheap. This is not Central America, it's still Europe, and your owners have to pay taxes on their rent. So, you've got to budget about $1,000 a month, and probably more in Lisbon, right, Carl?
Yeah, I mean,
Off season.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it is a different market here, but it always comes down to where you want to live, and what you're prepared to put up with, So, I mean, if you want to be sort of close to the airport, maybe in the flight path, you might get something a little cheaper. But if, like most people, they have ideas of being right in the centre, in Príncipe Real, places like
I
this.
want to see a tram.
Yeah,
they want a tram going past.
Yeah, I want a view looking out over the city, and yeah, we can get that, but you're not going to get that for $1,400, $1,600 a month. It's going to be, maybe $2,500, maybe $3,000 or more. I mean, it really can. The sky is almost the limit when it comes to rentals. But it does seem that it's very different to the Algarve market. I mean, I can and will find people places, but it's still very, very difficult. Limiting clients' expectations is a key part of what I do.
Yes.
Well, superb insight. Thank you both for managing people's expectations. It is part and parcel of what's going on at the moment. It's perhaps the shadow side of the sweet spot I was talking about, of course. And yeah, you can see this 8,000 is unreasonably high, but it's what the market is
supplying
at the moment, isn't it? I think
we're talking summer, so you're talking
instead
of a hotel, you're getting an apartment, because even the hotels are $200 to $800, depending on what you choose. If you choose the Grand, that can be $800, $1,000 a night facing the river. If you're choosing the Pastana, $150, $200 a night for one room. So when you think I want an apartment, it's going to be more than the hotel.
And that's a holiday home, not a rental, not a long-term rental. We're talking about.
Yeah. So, but they will rent it to you for 4 weeks if it's available. But I wouldn't recommend to anyone to set an expectation that you can come here and pay monthly for 3 months in summer, and even be able to get one that hasn't already been booked by people that come back every year for a week in the middle, right? So, I mean, that's where the money is here. It's the summer. Although I have to say, why come in the summer? It's so beautiful right now. Perfect weather. Like, avoid the summer. I'm going back to California in August because everyone in Europe travels in Europe. Everyone in Europe travels in August. So I don't want to be here in August. I'm out of here.
Same for Carl in Lisbon. We've got a quick one of these for Darren. There you go. I got a job offer. I am just negotiating my leave days. Congratulations to you, Darren. I know that's very important to you at the moment in your early days here in Portugal. So well done. Parabéns to you. Point of order, Chairman. Excuse me, says Tabitha. Canada and the Netherlands have hot summers. It's all relative, is it not? We say that.
And that's why they want to be back home in the summer. They want to be here in the winter, because in the winter, it's to them where we're cold. They love it,
My
Dutch
husband. You've got a grumpy Dutch husband. Oh no!
I'm so sorry. I'm just saying it's cold there.
It's relative as well, isn't it? I mean, Carl and I are from England, and we have a hot summer in England 2 days of the year, don't we?
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, you can get a spectacular 1 or 2 weeks, and that's about your limit. The worst thing about the weather in the UK, it's not so much the cold, it's the rain and the grey skies. It's no fun. So no, I wouldn't be going back to the UK for summer. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Well, it's slightly controversial whiff in the air here. That's why the Portuguese are starting to dislike expats. Well, that's quite the generalization there. And of course, some Portuguese people have their likes and dislikes, and expats may or may not at times. I don't think they dislike it when the going is good. It's quite, I think, perhaps a discussion for another time. We'll make this an Iberian FM call-in subject, because I do understand what you're saying, but it's quite the generalization there. And generally, not the case.
Because we're bringing up the prices. Is that
perhaps? But that is bringing other benefits, isn't it? I'm not sure we can extract a simple one-liner from a very complicated discussion, which we'll have on another occasion. You two need to watch out, though, in these last couple of minutes. I'm coming to USA to take over the real estate. Oh, so not
yay!
coming
enjoy.
Yeah,
The
we've
real
got some
estate
good
in America is really fun. It's fun.
Not a problem. Whatever your name is, Sarthak. It just sounds like a comic book hero, Sarthak, or actually a baddie, I think, a Sarthak. In these last couple of minutes, then, thank you, Mrs. M, for the coffee of the Good Morning Portugal show this morning. It's been a giddy one, I have to say. I'm going to go to the Iberian FM phone in just a moment and ask where are spiritual leaders leading us. But a little pithy comment about property in Portugal. All the P's there for you. Let's go first to Carl Hyde. Things are still looking good.
Yeah, things are still looking good. I mean, like I said at the start when I first joined you today, it's the start of the season now. The weather's warming up. I mean, I think it's warmer than it usually is for April, and the calls coming in. People are starting to think about moving. So it's just that time of year when people do. So I expect a strong year, and the agency does too. So yeah.
Have a great summer, Carl. We'll see you next month. Thank you very much for being here, Veronica.
I think someone just had said, "Oh, we're worried about this bubble," and I think we commented on that last month, right, Carl?
We do. We'll come back to it, won't we? It's an ongoing issue.
This is when you buy when people start having that fear, and we're still seeing things go up and up and up. And the good priced homes, the well-priced homes they're gone. They list and they're gone. We have pocket listings because, a lot of the Portuguese don't like to have the signs out front or don't like them to be listed. So we bring a client in, it's gone. Like if it's priced well, we had a gentleman in from Amsterdam and he was like, oh my gosh, this is so cheap. This would be, $1 million in Amsterdam. And it's, it's a $300,000 apartment. He bought 2 apartments and he bought an office front with river views. And he's like, this is such a great deal. I don't think there's a lot of time left before people realize you have a river, you have a beach, you have a small community that's authentic, a city square that's walkable without cars driving. And this Irish couple that just bought here also said, we call it the 15-minute city. You can walk everywhere in 15 minutes. There's not that much in Europe that has all of this. So it's location, and it's supply and demand, and they are flying off the shelves. So
it's true.
And it's a phenomenon. We are in the middle of this, aren't we? At the moment, we're going to see what this brings the country. It can't really be stopped. But it can be managed, I think, and that is a responsibility for all of us, isn't it? Including the politicians and the foreigners and of course, our wonderful hosts here in Portugal. We will continue this conversation. It's not going anywhere. This conversation will run and run, I'm sure, and we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll play as responsible a part in it as we can as well in the conversation that we're having. Veronica, Carl, thank you so much. Always good. That's from me and from Francis. And I'm not trying to fob you off, Mr. S there. We will come back to the conversation. And we've got a frothy Dutch husband now. The salaries are so much higher in Amsterdam than here. So maybe we can bring him on, or he can call into the phone in. And that's the funny thing, isn't it, about this sort of quick fire communication, but we will provide areas in which we can unpack it slowly and come to some sort of appreciation and understanding of each other's arguments. That's my promise to you. Veronica in VRSA in the Algarve, Carl Hyde, south of the river in Lisbon. Thank you so much, you legends. We'll see you again next month. Oh, that's not the right. See, I've got sleep ready. Just in case you were going to swear as you say goodbye. Applause for you both. Ciao, ciao. Take care. Bye for now. We're going into this now. Ciao, ciao. Hello. Yes, I lost my theme music there. I wasn't sure when it ended. There are always a few wonderful comments left over from the Good Morning Portugal show as we go into the Iberian FM phone-in. If you want to get your heads around the idea of the topic today, what we're talking about, given the controversy around the Dalai Lama just recently. I won't go into too much of that detail with that. I think you know what I'm referring to, and I don't want to single him out particularly as the focus of the discussion. It's a more general one, which is where are spiritual leaders leading us? And I see it does mention the Dalai Lama again, but that's what prompted me to have this conversation this morning. Where are spiritual leaders leading us? Dalai Lama accused of inaction over sex abuse in the Algarve. I may well come back to that specific story so you know what I'm talking about. And you can see that it is not entirely out of context, although it did seem somewhat tenuous to me to link the Dalai Lama with a local matter that's happening in the Algarve. But we'll see if that's warranted or not in a moment. Let me change the banners so that you've got the right number to call. 913-590-303 is the number to call if you want to talk about this. Are you somebody who has enjoyed the counsel of spiritual teachers and spiritual leaders? Has something changed now, though? Are we not looking upwards? Are we having more of a sideways conversations with people? Should we have people as peers and as colleagues on the spiritual journey rather than glamorous stars, I suppose? Not unlike Hollywood stars or celebrities that we look up to, and take their words at face value, put them into practice, and not worry too much about their personal morals and values, as sometimes seems to be the case. As often the great gurus, and I'm thinking of people like Osho. When I call them great gurus, I think it's fair to say they have given people great insight, inspiration, and teaching. I don't mean great in this context, though. I mean great as in the ones we've heard about, the infamous and famous gurus, with their Rolls Royces, their abuse, possibly allegedly, of followers, power going to their heads. Are we living in a time? Well, I better turn the phone on, aren't we, if we're going to have some calls here? 913-590-303, the number to call. And we're ready to take your calls on this, on what I think is an important topic. And it's not just, as you might immediately think, new agey or more recent gurus and spiritual teachings, is it? I mean, this of course could refer to any kind of spiritual leadership, spiritual teaching. Catholic Church, of course, no stranger to controversy and abuse. So are we moving into a time where we are going to stop seeing people? It's quite an interesting extension, isn't it, of the earlier conversations we were having about royalty, monarchy. That's changing. I think, there's a struggle to get people interested in King Charles's coronation. When we talked about politicians and the day before last about how to make politicians accountable, cynicism and regard of politicians is so low, and expectations are so low about what they might do for society. Do we bring spiritual teachers and spiritual leaders into that as well? Are they not what they used to be? Have we changed? Have things changed? Has society changed so that we don't have the same dynamic going on? We don't just have these people in their position, the kings, the politicians, and the spiritual leaders, who are just saying, it's okay, we've got this. We'll take care of this. We're the grown-ups, you're the kids. Just do as we say and everything will be fine. Because as we're discovering in most recent times, things aren't just fine if we let them just get on with it and they're not accountable, which they don't appear to be. Okay, thank you, Antonio F. Remember to hit the like button. More importantly at the moment, remember to call in and let me keep an eye on WhatsApp. So if you're on your Wi-Fi, if you're using your WhatsApp, don't worry about making an expensive phone call. If you've got a frothy Dutch husband who has a view on this, get them to call in on 913-590-303. We've got our first call coming in, and I think this is somebody who might be in Canada. Hello, who's this on the line?
Hey, Carl, it's Suze.
Hi, Suze. Good
It's
to hear
Suze
from you.
calling from her sick bed.
Oh, and an extra applause for you, and love and respect and encouragement, given that you're not feeling so well. Have you been moved to call because of the subject matter, or was it something left over from the Good Morning Portugal show?
Oh, subject matter.
Oh, go on. Spiritual leaders. Then.
I want to talk about
go on.
spirituality and meditation, and I think actually for me it's personal growth.
Yeah.
And we all have different ways of approaching it. and some things work for others and don't work for other people. There may be hesitance, reluctance, the chance to turn back. And I've sent you the poem called Commitment. And the last line of it was a quote by Goethe that said, God, I can't remember what it is. This is what happens when a sick person calls in. The moment one commits.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry.
The moment one commits oneself, then providence moves too.
Yeah.
And I've been counting on that since 86, 87 when I first learned it.
Yeah.
That, I just think anything is possible as long as you believe in it. And then I followed Wayne Dyer for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of hooked into his power of intention, which I still rely on. And even though I didn't like his voice for meditation, I do meditate to guided meditation as opposed to just going off in my own thoughts. So anyway, I just thought I'd bring that to you as my way of looking at things.
Well, I like that a great deal, and the way that I'm framing and talking about this doesn't mean that I think spiritual teachers, spiritual teachings are redundant in any way. Clearly, we are complex beings as human beings, aren't we? And we have needs on every level, mind, body, and spirit. What I was bringing into question really was the personalities involved with spirituality, spiritual teaching, spiritual leaders. So what I'm getting from you, and what I will do, if I may, is share that quote so that you mentioned there. It's Wolfgang von Goethe, isn't it, who said that? Until one is committed, there is always hesitancy. So a nice little bit of spiritual teaching here in the middle of the Iberian FM phone in this morning. Until one is committed, there is always hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. And you know this in your life from what you've said. I've actually seen you do this. I've done it myself. We know the truth of this, don't we? It has a ring of truth to it. And this sort of material is really powerful and useful for human beings. Can I glean from what you're saying that the what people are saying is more important than the people themselves when it comes to being a spiritual teacher or leader?
Well, I just think there's a bunch of sham, scam. We've seen the news. There's been people like Jim Jones and David Koresh who had followers who were vulnerable and gullible and needed a leadership that they just weren't really prepared to perhaps find something healthier and better for them so they could still be alive. But, and then some people belong to religious groups that they get what they feel they need from. And then, of course, I've got my judgments about that, too.
Go on.
Because there's some limitations in some religious beliefs. There's some limitations. This is not allowed.
Okay.
Like, for example, when I had cancer, I went back to the Lutheran church where I was raised. I had been away for many years, but I just was desperate and fearful. And so I went to the church, and the minister was at most of the sermon talking about what sinners we were and that Jesus would forgive us. And I thought, this isn't helping. Why are you telling me that I'm a sinner, which, maybe I am, but I'm here for the love of God, not to be threatened by God. So anyway, that's just my take on that angle.
No, I appreciate that and resonate with it. I totally get it, and I do like your how charitable you are about it as well. Because this is a particular shtick or approach, isn't it? Of course, that we're sinners, miserable sinners, and you very thoughtfully said, well, maybe we are, and I can see that as well. But the other key phrase that you used is "this is not helping," and is that the kind of gold standard we might look for? Is to ask that question earnestly. What is being put to me here by a spiritual teacher, by a spiritual leader? Is this actually helping?
I just realized my housemate is sleeping in the room above me, and I've been talking very loud. So I'm going to lower my voice, and if that's a problem, let me know.
No, we can still hear you. I mean, probably what they heard while they were sleeping is we're miserable sinners. It might be bringing all sorts of flashbacks for them as they try and sleep up there. Go on.
I just think, everyone can find their own answers in their own way as long as it truly is feeding them in a healthy, supportive, loving way that propels them to, achieving what they want in life. And, I'm, since I was sick, I've had a lot of stumbling blocks, and I'm in one right now.
Yeah.
But you just don't get. You know what? I'll tell you a little story. Do you have time for it?
Yeah, of course. This is what this is about.
2007. It was my dream initially to move to France. So just after I finished chemo in 2007, I scooted off to the south of France, and it had been a year, and there had been a lot of loss. I had lost my breast. I had chemo. I had to give up my career. I had to give up a dog. I had to give up a car. I had to sell a house at a loss. It was just boom, boom, boom. Then my mother was diagnosed. No, she wasn't even diagnosed. She was just fading away, and they didn't have a diagnosis for her. So anyway, I finished chemo, scooted off to the south of France, wanted to buy a house, and I was with a friend, so we were having a good time, and I dropped her off to meet her husband, and then I took this little cute mountain road back to the chambre d'hôte I was staying at between Avignon and Aix-en-Provence. It was a mountain road, hadn't been up it before, and all of a sudden my personal grief for all this loss just hit me.
Yeah.
And tears were streaming, and I was wailing, and I couldn't see out of my little rental car. And I thought, this is it. I'm going to die on this road.
Oh,
I can't see anywhere to pull over. And anyway, I made it. And I said to myself, just keep going.
Yeah.
So a few years passed, and I went back, and I thought, I got to go up that mountain road again and see if there was a place to turn over. And there was. Just on that day, I couldn't see it. So I think, aside from all the other ramblings I've done, I think my motto is just keep going.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't quite clear about that. You went back. So it was in the rain, and the conditions weren't
No. It was a clear, sunny day.
Oh.
I dropped my friend off the train.
Yeah.
And then I took a different route back.
Yeah.
And I ended up, instead of, I don't like the big highways. I want to see the country, right? So I went up this little rinky-dink mountain road.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's when my grief hit me, and I was crying so hard I couldn't see.
Oh, okay.
And so this
That's
is,
what
and I couldn't see if there was anywhere to pull over.
Okay.
And so I said, just keep going.
Yeah.
And so a few years later, I went back to that exact same spot, clear-eyed, sunny day, little rental car. And at near the top, there was a place to pull over. But on that particular day, I hadn't seen it. And I thought, well, I survived. I'm still here.
Yes. Yeah. There's a few things in there, if I might ask you about them. The nature of grief, and this has been popping up from time to time. We mentioned it earlier on this morning. Mama Bear McGowan from Sharing Care Portugal was with us. We talked to Stephen Jenkinson, of course, about death and dying and how our culture treats it a couple of weeks ago. And that moment where your grief hit you, that's a thing, isn't it? Because I guess as human beings, we need to be functional and carry on. Like you say, keep going. And so there's a kind of irony there, isn't there? There is you maybe something in your mind or body said, I can't keep going. And the tears came, something triggered the tears. And that was a relief or a release of some sort of catharsis. And then,
I think
go on.
I was just saying, I had been with a very old friend exploring France together, and she and I did comedy together. So that's what we did. We cracked each other up. But when she left me, that's when grief said, oh, this is my turn. This is where I get to come in.
Yes.
So after she left and I was alone, I've just moved. I'm a little winded because of the COVID, but
sure.
I just moved down to the living room so as not to wake up Lee. Anyway, so I haven't got it figured out, Carl.
No, none of us have.
It's an ongoing process.
Yes, yeah, of course.
I just want to figure it out in Portugal, and I'm having trouble getting there.
Yeah.
So my examination for myself was, what obstacles are here? What do I need to do to put this behind me for once and all, and just reclaim the life I used to have?
Yes.
So that's why I dared to call in, because I may not be alone, and if I'm not, all the better.
Well, I'm glad you did, and that's what one of the things I feel really good about with our community is that we do. There are connections here. There's the obvious one. We talk to each other, and there's people in the chat and the comments, and people talk to each other as well, don't they? Separately, and we're in each other's lives, and we're there for each other as connections. And I really love that about what we've all created here together. So long may that continue. And I'm glad you're feeling some sense of that. On the other side of it, on the shadow or dark side of it, you say are there some challenges that we can help with at the moment?
I'll approach it to you when I feel like I've got it clear in my head.
Okay.
But it's just, I think I'm just having, this is an exercise in patience is what I'm guessing it is. It's
yes.
Just, you're not ready. You can't just be that impulsive and go, well, I want to be in Portugal. Boom, here I go. It takes some organizing.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to acknowledge your level of introspection, self-awareness, and just your approach to life, Suze. It's inspirational. It's great to meet you when you were here, and it's going to be good to meet you when you come back and see you again when you come back to Portugal.
The other thing I wanted to put it in the chat in '86. The workshop that I got that commitment poem from was based out of New York City, and it was for actors initially. It was called The Mastery of Self-Expression. Ted Danson was in the original group. Sigourney Weaver took it.
Wow!
But and what it was an acting teacher saying to a bunch of actors, "You're all really good actors. Why aren't you working?" So they said, "Let's just get into the studio. We're gonna hunker down until we figure this out." And they ended up coming up with this workshop, which I then co-produced in Toronto, and you know, it's an intensive, really learn to tell your own truth to yourself kind of workshop.
Wonderful.
In a very safe environment. So I just that was '86, a long time ago, but I just haven't had the nerve to ask if there's any other Mastery of Self-Expression graduates in our community.
Oh, yeah.
Because it did go international. They do it in London, they do it in Israel, Toronto, Vancouver. Of course, they got shut down during COVID because it's a very interactive, physical, as well as expressive weekend. So anyway, I had never mentioned it, and I just thought I'll bring it up. Maybe.
Well, you make another good point. If obliquely there, that here are the actors getting together to understand their art and their medium, if you like. And what they've discovered, it would seem, is that actually, ultimately, it's not so much about acting; it's about where you're at as an individual, as the actor. And this is true, I think, of people who reach mastery in all of their skills in life, whether they be actors, musicians, accountants, whatever they happen to be. It's not actually about the subject anymore, is it? To gain mastery and to see clearly and to be, functional and the best at what you do and to have the most wholesome and happy experience of life requires self-inspection, introspection, transformation. And it's not so much about the subjects, as it turns out. It's more about the person seeing the activity. It comes back to you, doesn't it? It is about you in the end.
Well, it comes also to interpretation and what were you told as a child by family, parents, teachers, friends about you that you bought into, which may not be true. Maybe you were a little bit different. Maybe you were a little bit odd.
Check.
And you were put down for it.
Yes.
Maybe as a boy you weren't masculine enough, or
you know me so well.
Maybe you had some wild ideas, and so what we teach here is let's get to the facts of the matter and get away from the interpretation that is based on speculation, assumptions, and fears.
Oh, bless you.
Let's look at our real, true selves, and what did we sacrifice? It's like some people are very soft-spoken, and they think they're yelling. Who put that in their head when we can't even hear them?
It's so true. We've met. That's a great example. We've met those people, haven't we? And and it's a great insight. Another fantastic.
I'm sorry. Can you speak up? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Me of all people. Suze, that is so great. Such good insight. One more thing, if I may, before you go. You talked about the great again, I'm not using great in terms of excellence, but the great cult leaders that we know about, the infamous ones, the Jim Jones and Koresh, and how they exploited vulnerable people. I've always found this
You forgot to mention Donald Trump.
Oh no, we've got 7 minutes to go. We can't play the Trump card, so to speak, and expect to leave this
Sorry,
conversation.
I'm just trying to be funny.
I know
Wait.
it's kind of
But
funny.
you do have to look at some of his followers are.
But this is what I'm saying.
Their agenda is not based on fact.
Sure. Let me just bring in another thought here from Stephen. Most of the spiritual leaders you hear about, Osho, are the ones that have monetized the spirituality. A whole bunch of coaching trainings that have been taken down over the last few years. Netflix did one recently. BBC have just done a very British cult. Well, the BBC itself is a cult. What I want to talk about or put to you here, or get your view on, Suze, is this idea of vulnerable people and cults. And there's often a kind of, I don't know, I find it a bit of a condescension that we've got to look after those vulnerable people who are being exploited by, people whose agendas aren't, let's say, the most excellent in the world. And of course we do. But in that, we may not recognize, as you said before, the prejudices and the short-sightedness we might bring ourselves of not realizing that we belong to all sorts of cults without realizing it. And we are also vulnerable, aren't we? Whilst we look at others as being vulnerable and drinking the Kool-Aid, we may have those blind spots ourselves. Right?
I was just going to say, don't drink the Kool-Aid has become a catchphrase. And it came from a really horrific event.
Yeah, of course it did.
But that's because we can recognize that there are people who seemingly are vulnerable and are drinking Kool-Aid, a different kind of Kool-Aid, not a literal Kool-Aid, in buying into some crap.
Of course. But then we have to strike a balance, don't we? That is their right to do so. And the point I'm making is that where are we doing that? If we bring our focus out of all those whatever Biden supporters, Trump supporters drinking the Democratic or the Republican Kool-Aid, that may or may not be true, and it is their right to do so, isn't it? Because we live in hopefully a free world where people are figuring stuff out by doing such things. But then,
you don't let a child drive a car.
I know, I absolutely agree, and that's why I say it's a fine balance, isn't it? But then, do we stop people? Do we, in the same way that we would protect a child from driving a car? Although there was a great video, wasn't there, of a kid driving his dad's truck, or ordering an app, exactly. Where do we draw the line of stepping in to say, well, we can't have that politician because some vulnerable people might vote for them and drink that Kool-Aid, as it were. There has to be an amount of allowance and a quest for balance, doesn't there, rather than a quest for cancellation and censorship around these things.
Like I said, I think that the determination, the hope is that people will find a healthy way to improve the quality of their lives, fulfill some dreams, be loving, be loved, take care, have the best life they can.
Yes.
And almost everyone, no matter what course they're on, that's what they're trying to do.
Isn't it just?
And it just seems some are a little more naive and gullible and actually cause danger to others. Look at Germany in World War II following Hitler. I mean, he set out with good ideas initially, but he had a hidden agenda. He had propaganda, and I'm seeing propaganda. I don't watch the news very much, but I can tell through my feeds that there's propaganda out there.
Yes.
Okay. And so it's kind of the way of the world. But I'm just thinking, I don't know how to get rid of scam artists, or how to be wary of them. I just block them.
Yeah.
If you know to.
Well, it's real, isn't it? All the things we're talking about are real. I don't mean to diminish or undervalue the importance and danger of things. I'm just looking for a different angle, I suppose, exploring the angles on these things. That's what the Iberian FM phone-in is about. That's what I think we're about as a community. Politics is the number one cult, says Mrs. M, as Feel Good Astrology. We're all playing this game at some level. Women stooped. I think Mr. S has a lot to say. Maybe you'll phone in to the Iberian FM phone-in at some point. For some reason, I can't post anything. I keep getting a community standards tab. That's karma.
Someone, you've blocked yourself.
No, I think that's Mrs. M falling foul of the Facebook cult of fact checking and so on. and she doesn't like it. She doesn't like it. She responds badly to that, and I completely can understand her anger when it erupts about those sorts of things. And as we come to the end of today's session, perhaps this is a conversation that we will continue. Another theme here: women don't own their bodies in the US anymore. That's not right, says Mr. S. So I think we have triggered some people this morning. We've not meant to do that. The intention of the Iberian FM phone-in is to talk about important things. And Suze, you've done that brilliantly
Well,
this
see,
morning.
I feel a little, I'm just rambling on here in my COVID-addled brain as clearly as I can. And I can't see the show. I can't see the comments in the chat.
Yeah.
So it's basically the chat between you and me and others are eavesdropping, and that's totally fine, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's exactly how it can be, and is a pretty good format, I would think. And all views are welcome here. I'm
going to.
Are you off?
I'm going to sign off here, but I just wanted to say I think you guys are great. The whole community is wonderful. We're not going to agree on everything, but we do have a common goal, and that's a love of Portugal, and that's a good place to start.
Good on you, Suze. Thank you so much. With your COVID-addled brain, as you put it, calling you made a lot of sense to me. Not that I'm recommending COVID-addled brain, but you made a lot of sense. It's been lovely to talk to you. Keep on recovering. Take care. Bye for now.
Thanks. Bye.
There she goes. Fantastic. As easy as that. 913-590-303. But not today. Now, what we have going against us is time. We live in a time-based universe. Oh, we got sent a meme about that, didn't we? That James sent in. I fully understand your theory of relativity. It's about time, says the Einstein lookalike there. And time is up for us today. It is one of the it's a self-imposed barrier. It's a man-made creation, isn't it? Time, or certainly how we've come to use it as a weapon against ourselves. And I'm going to do that now, not least because I need to go and hang out with my in-laws. But I want to say, if you've got a frothy Dutch husband, if your feelings, political ideology, if you're upset about anything that's been said today, my promise to you is that you can be heard. You can be heard, and we can keep talking. Like I said before, it's a good quality of communication to stick around to clear up the mess. That's a good sign of friendship, to want to work through something. And that is one of, as well as, if you call into the Iberian FM phone-in or make a comment in the chat, I would love it as a basic ground rule that it be respectful and that it be lawful in the first instance, and that we're open-minded and open-hearted. We can hear what people are saying, and we can do our best to understand what people are saying as well, even if we don't agree with them. Here's the thing, and I think that's what Suze was mentioning there. We may not agree with each other, and does it really matter that much? But from that, what you could call disagreement or lack of agreement, we might become better educated or more open-minded or more of a resource to each other, or of more service to each other, recognizing that we do think differently. But as Suze again said, we have a common goal. On the face of it, in Good Morning Portugal, a love of Portugal. But we have a love of Portugal because of what Portugal represents, which is that same open-mindedness, open-heartedness, an easier place to be in these crazy times for humanity. Please, Mr. S, please don't feel thwarted. I can't tell you how to feel. That's not my job, not anyone's job, is it? You're feeling what you're feeling, and what I would, how I would invite you and encourage you is to anything that's left there as a source of irritation, bring it for examination and sharing, and a tool for the personal growth that Suze talked about here on the Iberian FM phone-in. I'm liking how it's going. I'm liking what we do, and I don't know who Sabrina is. I think it's very positive to know what I don't want to be. Yes, again, more useful gems of conversation that can be brought forward to future episodes of the podcast and live stream that is the Iberian FM phone-in. Make a note of that number, 913-590-303. And until tomorrow, when we talk to Ron Rogers tomorrow, about his wonderful album, the title track, Portuguese Cowboys, and that is the eponymous. Is that what it's? No, it's not eponymous because it would be called the Ron Rogers album, wouldn't it? But the title track is the name of the album and the title track, Portuguese Cowboys. We'll play that again tomorrow because that is one of my 3 favorites from the album. And I'll play 2 other tracks, and Ron will be joining us. Michael Bliss, if you're tuned in, you might like to join us and say hi as well. But we're playing 3 tracks, thanks to Ron, who's allowed us to do so, and talking to the man himself for a Feel Good Friday Iberian FM phone-in. And that, of course, after the Good Morning Portugal show tomorrow, where it's a real bonanza. Phil, Coach Turner, Raquel, and maybe Stephen White will be joining us. It's a busy one tomorrow. And we will unwind and expand. We'll unwind physically and expand our minds at the same time. Hopefully, if all goes according to plan, with the Iberian FM. I can't even say the name of my own creation here. The Iberian FM phone-in. Until then, and if I don't see you on Expats Portugal's Dream Team session at 9, and before that, the license exchange and vehicle special with ACP, I will see you in the morning. Take care and bye for now.